Beloved Creator of all that is, we are grateful for this day and for this gathering of people. We are grateful for this new day and the promise it holds. We're grateful for a week ahead that holds as much potential for growth and change as any other and more. We are grateful for the growing consciousness and for the unfolding of deceptions and lies that lead us ever closer to the truths we seek. Thank you, Creator, for the support that community gives, for the love of family gatherings, and for the acceptance when those bonds are broken or are untenable. It is that such times as we humbly turn to you and to our spirit within to know our purpose and our breadth. And we thank you for the perpetual, unlimited depth and breadth of your love available to us at every breathing moment in our vehicle that we are. Thank you, beloved Creator, for our presence in this mystery. And so it is.
Hello, my name's Ron Vroman. I'm the old white man talking head for the Oregon Statewide Jural Assembly. This is a recording, and I'm soliciting unfettered advice of counsel. So this is a recruitment video. During the process of becoming the provisional government on Oregon, we've run into several problems, and we're seeking advice from unfettered counsel. That's hard to find. We're out here on the leading edge of this movement to return to a constitutional Republican form of government this year, 2024. In doing so, we need a lot of help. And counsel is one of the places that we need help. You would think we could find that among attorneys, and that's not true. We have found that all attorneys are members of a bar. No, not all, almost all. The dictionary says there's a difference between lawyers and attorneys, and there probably is. So we're seeking counsel, and that can be either an attorney or a lawyer as far as we're concerned. Their issue is who they have allegiance to. Are they registered or unregistered foreign agents? So if they're a registered foreign agent and a member of the bar, they're not unfettered. So can't be them. But then again, what do we know? We're just lawyers. We have studied law. And that's the area where we're discussing returning to a constitutional Republican form of government. So the issues are staggering when you look at it. When I started this quest of mine, and I was by myself 10 years ago, I rapidly found others like me. And we soon found 6 and started our Jural Assembly. Our Jural Assembly has grown until we have a large jury pool of several hundred Oregonians. And we have some from other states that are in our jury pool. Because anytime they come to Oregon, and they are on Oregon, they are a member of our jury pool. And when they go away, they're not on Oregon, not in our jury pool. Counsel can be from anywhere. I know of several that I'd really like to have counsel in our quest seeking remedy. So, what does it take? What are the requirements? What's necessary for you to have to answer this call for unfettered counsel? You have to have a knowledge of the subject matter. That's something that only you can have if you're going to provide unfettered counsel. I can't tell you what it is. You have to do it. You have to know it. Nobody can do it for you. And we need your help. So, the things we're doing, we've determined that enemies from within and enemies from without. I was watching a young man, he was a colonel. He was testifying before a committee in Congress. And he had 3 other men with him, and they were testifying against those people that are inhibiting the National Guard and Washington District of Columbia from doing their job. They had a job to do and they couldn't get the job done. They couldn't get timely orders to do it. And he was an attorney. He was an attorney for the National Guard, a colonel. And he sees the problem from his point of view. We see the problem from our point of view. Our information leads us to believe that we no longer have a constitutional Republican form of government. And the evidence is overwhelming. He sees it also. And he was going after enemies from without and from within. We've determined that the United States Marine Corps has the responsibility. And the reason we determined that was they're older than the United States of America. They're a plank holder in our republic. They were there before we had a republic. So it's their responsibility. And we're seeking help to write the paper in a proper way so that the Commandant of the Marine Corps will do the job. Apparently, we've written the paperwork incorrectly. Now, the Judiciary Act of 1789 states in Section 32, if there's a mistake, we correct it and move on. So our error is not catastrophic. Just correct it, move on. So if there's advice of counsel out there that thinks it's not the Marine Corps that has this responsibility, we'd like to know who. It has been suggested that it is the Coast Guard that has the responsibility. And there's an argument for it. It can't be the Army because the Army is not constitutional. Can't be the Air Force. I was told the other day it had to be the Space Force. I don't know. That's why we're seeking advice of counsel. There has to be a lot of people that have the answer. And we would like them to share that with us. You can find us at www.orsja.org. Now, if you think it's not the Marine Corps, then in examining who else it might be, such as the U.S. Marshal Service, well, we've contacted them. A guy named Jeff is in Internal Affairs. He's supposed to be in charge of it. He told me he was. So the U.S. Marshal has all of this information just as the Marine Corps, but they have chosen not to act also. Then we were told that the executive on the counties is the sheriffs. Now, we've known that for a really long time. I first got that information from the National Liberty Alliance. Ray got the same information. So did Roger. So did Laura. And we acted on it in 2017. And we advised all of the 36 sheriffs that were sheriffs at that time that Article 7 amended the judiciary clause in Oregon's Constitution was bogus. There is no evidence that it was placed into the Constitution lawfully. So we notified all the sheriffs, and none of them took action. Since that time, we've taken a lot of steps in our quest. And recently, we have filed that information with 5 different sheriffs, and none of them want to take action. They need to uphold their oath. Well, we started asking for their oath in 2017, and we asked 36 of them, and we got 6. Since then, we have gotten nothing. We've met with several sheriffs. Cynthia has met with more sheriffs than anybody. And we need more unfettered advice of counsel for Cynthia to do the job necessary to bring those sheriffs to law instead of color of law. They have been using color of law since November 8th, 1910. And they continue to do it even after they have been notified. So advice to counsel would be nice to do a better job. We've done the best job we can several times and cannot get the sheriffs to comply. We know what they're supposed to do, and they know what they're supposed to do. It's written in all of their job descriptions, and they refuse to do it. They choose to adhere to the de facto, which is unlawful and illegitimate, Salem oligarchy. It's been in power for 113 years. The United States of Washington District of Columbia, Inc. has been in power in some form of a de facto governance since 1861. Do you see that the job is daunting? That's why we are looking for advice of counsel to resolve the problem. We do not want this to go in the direction of Athens, Tennessee, 1946. If it does that, it gets really bad. And it doesn't need to get bad. I didn't wake up until 2014 when I cured myself of cognitive dissonance. I was late waking up. 75 is a long, long time to be fooled. But I'm not fooled anymore. And I'm hanging out with a bunch of people that are not fooled anymore. We are no longer deceived. However, to write the proper paper, to enable the people that need to take action, to take a proper oath to the proper Constitution, with God included, is the solution. Just as you must do it yourself, nobody can do it for you, and we cannot do it alone. It's the same with the sheriff and the commandant of the Marine Corps. He has to do it. She has to do it. They have to do it. Nobody can do it for them. How does that happen? That's why we need unfettered advice of counsel. We know all the ways that have not worked. Now, that doesn't mean they won't work. In sales, we were told, and it's true, it takes 5 no's to get a yes. That's not difficult. It doesn't guarantee you will get a yes after 5 no's, but you have to try at least 5 times before you've put up a credible effort, the due diligence to make this happen. We meet every Monday, 7 o'clock in the evening on Skype, and you're all invited. If you will appear in your own name, I'll invite you in. I'm found on Skype at ron.vrooman1. You find me on Skype in your own name, and I'll invite you into the meetings. We're totally transparent. So, in addition to all of the other positions that we're recruiting for, such as members of the court, people that'll step forward. We need 4 in each court. So we need 3 to step forward for each one of our clerks of the court so we can provide a court to do the work. Because we're talking about a civilian common law court of records. Article 3, one Supreme Court claiming original jurisdiction. That's not SCOTUS. Read the Constitution. It says one Supreme in small letters. Court is capitalized. That's not SCOTUS. That's us. And that's found in Amendment 7, whose jury's verdict has no appeal in fact. We have all of those in place. They have done their job many, many times. Tanya calls a grand jury and one shows up, and they do the work. We call for a petita trial jury, and one shows up, and we do the work. Now we need some people to show up as unfettered counsel. I know several people that have the knowledge to help. And I'm going to get this video up and send it to them. They have the knowledge. We need them to do the work. I should have probably scripted this so I had something to read from, but I really know the material quite well. We've studied it. We have some excellent people working with us and for us and on this, and remedies around the corner. Should the commandant decide to adhere to his oath, it's done. All he has to do is honor his oath. Enemies from within. They're on Oregon. We've identified them. We've tried them. They're convicted. They need to be removed. Apparently, they won't remove themselves. They have no honor. If they have no honor, they have no obligation to be honorable. We're dealing with the point where good meets evil. And we cannot acquiesce anymore. Acquiescence has got us to this point. So who out there has sufficient knowledge and courage to give us unfettered advice of counsel? Who's willing to step forward? I'm on Substack and all over the internet all day, every day, communicating with lots of people. And you'd be surprised how many will not use their own name. They're anonymous. They're hiding. They talk, they have information, they write, they publish, but they hide. You cannot hide. You have to stand in court and face the accuser or be the accuser. And those that need to be removed from office need to be removed. Now, in Athens, Tennessee in 1946, the people from the greatest generation removed the sheriff and all the others that had an oligarchy that was unconstitutional. Years and years later, in fact, just a few years ago, I called the sheriff in Athens, Tennessee, and I talked to him. And he told me that the current mayor was a descendant of one of those that had fought that fight. And I talked to her, and she was de facto all the way. She had been completely turned around from a de jure government to a de facto government, supporting what was illegal and illegitimate, and she thought she was doing the right thing. Totally confused, and that's how they work. That's their law form. He who can be deceived, let him. That's not common law. In common law, you don't deceive people. That's not the point. The point is to provide remedy for the situation. And the situation is we do not have a constitutional Republican form of government on any of the 33 states or any of the 17 territories. The corruption is so long and so deep. My next door neighbor told me, Ron, how long's that been going on? 112 years. I don't want any part of it. And he turned around and walked away. I've known the man for 20 years. Do you see the issue? The bell curve. 62.5% of you will not take action against the de facto. You will not speak truth. You will abide by their laws. You will be the frog in the pan and not do the job. That leaves a lot of people. But a bunch of them are on the side of Satan, either intentionally or through ignorance. There's not many that really know and have the courage to stand in their own name. And those are those few that we're looking for. Like the Marines, we just need a few good men. Amazingly enough, among the people that we need, at least half of them are women. We need them also. We need you folks to stand up, find who among you is Unfettered Counsel, and provide your service to us. Not as a servant or a public servant, because that's not the position. The position is to find service in your heart and bring it to us as Unfettered Counsel. Now yield.
They do not want to let go of this. They do not intend on losing here. And we do not intend giving it back to them.
And then the bullets started flying. And then he jumps out of the car. And he's got both his hands up. And he got out of the car, and he had his hands in the air. He's like, just shoot me then. This is what you want, to shoot me. And they did. They shot him dead. With his hands in the air, and I saw it. I swear to God. He was just walking with his hands in the air. And they shot him. And they shot him dead, and then after he was down on the ground, they shot him 3 more times.